Welcome back. Up until now, we have been working on your own body, things in your own physiology. You've learned how to create stability, maintain it, expand it across your system, and now we take one more step. What happens when another person is involved? Now, this is where people tend to misunderstand. You're not projecting anything, you're not sending, and you're not controlling someone else. This is about something much simpler: how one system responds to another. And I mean, this is the crux of human potential in a mammalian way, in a scientific way. As mammals, we actually entrain to one another. And so there's nothing really mystical about intuition and healing when you look at it from that standpoint. So let's go back to our exercise. Let's prove this to ourselves, right? Let's establish our own stability the way we've been doing. We'll start the same way that we always do, by bringing attention to our hands. So let the sensation become clear and stable. And of course, you can slow this down if you want to. So once it's stable, then we want to expand it like you practiced into a unified whole body sense. So add other points in if that's the way you're doing it, or if you're able to just think in a coherent whole body sense and feel your entire body as a system, perfect. Now, add another person. Have someone be nearby, but don't go into them or try and change anything. Just be aware of them while maintaining your own stability. This is important. Stay within your own system. You don't have to reach or project or interfere in any way. And I've been in the healing arts for 30 years. Everyone talks about pushing energy into someone or, intending things. You don't actually have to do that. It works better without it. Just maintaining coherence in your own system while including another in awareness. Sometimes subtle things will happen. Their posture will shift, a movement change, or tension relaxes. Sometimes nothing obvious happens, and that's fine. It's not really about producing an effect, but I want to give you an example that happened with me. So my husband had frozen shoulder, and he could not put his arm behind his back nor lift it, and he was in a lot of pain. And so he said, "Can you help me?" Because he knows, of course, that I work in the healing arts and energy. And I said, "Sure." And I tried something different. So I sat next to him and I got myself into coherence. And I didn't touch him. I didn't even look at him, but he was probably maybe 2 feet from me. And we did, I should say, before I do any kind of work like this, I always tell people to give whatever is going on a number from 1 to 10. And, his pain was at an 8. And of course we did he couldn't put his hand any more than that, right? So I sat there for maybe 2 minutes in coherence. And actually, there's another step that I added in that I'll teach you guys later, but it's simple. It's not anything it's really more of a thought. But after 2 minutes, I said, "Okay, we're done." And he kind of looked at me like, "Really?" And then I was like, "So let's check it out." I'm like, "Can you put your hand behind your back?" And he literally just went, whomp, and his hand went right behind his back. Easy. And I was like, "So what's your pain level?" And he just looked at me. He goes like, "A 1." So that isn't a miracle. It is actually his physiology and training to mine, because we're mammals. We usually entrain to the most coherent person in the room. In that case, it was me. I was the only other person in the room, but I was sitting close enough to him, peripersonal space, like I'm always talking about. And, our systems exchanged some information. So that's what's happening. Systems interact. That's true in biology, in physics, in everything. When one system becomes more stable, it can influence how another system organizes, not by force, but by providing a stable reference. But this only works if you remain non-invasive, you don't try and control the outcome, and you stay anchored in your own system. The moment you try to do something to someone else, you lose coherence. So you can explore this, standing near to someone, sitting across from someone, even in conversation. But the focus is always the same. Maintain your own stability. So you can actually do this if you find someone is anxious or angry and you stabilize yourself, you can bring that down a notch. You can just temper that for them. So try this carefully. Stabilize your system, include another person, and observe. Not what you can make happen, but what changes naturally. At this point, this is no longer just about your body. It's about how systems interact. And we'll continue to explore that step by step.